wanted to just stall for 5 minutes because when we get into it tonight, we're going to get into it. All right. So welcome everyone to our team call. If you're a brand new coach and you're like in your first month with Optavia, first couple weeks. Yes, Donna, I see you. And who else do I see here? Jennifer Gomat. Yes, new. There's someone else. Donna is on Ashley's team. Brittany, I see you. So welcome our new coaches, you guys. They're drinking from a fire hose, you remember? So it's, you know how it is, where they're like lots of threads, lots of things. Oh my gosh, I'm having fun, but wow. Okay, so we see you and you guys are going to be fine. We all felt like that. Okay, just make sure that if you're like, what do I pay attention to? I'm going to give you the answer. You ready? It should be in your business thread. If it's outside of your business thread, it's extra. Okay, so I'm going to clarify that for you guys. All right, so tonight we are going to inspire, we are going to equip, we are going to educate. If you're new, a lot of this, don't feel like you have to hold it all in your hands. Okay, where you're like, wait a second, I'm starting to drop things and that's over my head. I don't know that acronym. I don't remember. Just in time training. We provide it, but there are people ahead of you, people behind you. So just know if you're here, you're always going to catch something, but don't feel like you have to catch it all. Okay. All right. So I'm going to kick us off. Where's Mr. Ronnie Stutes? There we go. And let me see, is Opal on? Is she on? I'm sorry, I can't see everybody, but Opal and Ronnie blessed us today with a few moments on April Madness. There's Opal. I see you, Opal. Hello. All right. So it was so wonderful to hear from them on an April Madness series. These guys are just getting into it. I did ask Ronnie tonight if he would share, and preemptively, I'm going to ask you, Miss Opal, if you would share, because I loved your story, but I'm not going to put you on the spot tonight. And we do have a tight agenda, but your story needs to be told to the rest of our team because it has power. And tonight we're going to hear from Ronnie, and he's just going to share a little bit of the perspective that he's having. And I hope that it all speaks to you. So Ronnie, take it away, my friend.
If you have heard Jamil or anyone on the team share the story about the recovering addict, would you just put a 1 in the chat so that I will know how to address you? Perfect. Okay. A lot of you have. So without telling the story, you understand that there was an addict he was in the hole, he was trapped, he couldn't get out. I heard that story for the first time during March Madness, and it was just after the fact that I'd heard the story of the Buddha with the clay, and I'd had that epiphany, and I had a great healing in myself. And then bam, he tells the story about this recovering addict, and I'm thinking, okay, I can identify with that. So I felt like I was in the hole and I was trapped, but yet I had a team, mentors, people who were going to help me get out and go to where I wanted to go. And I knew that Optavia, of course, was that vehicle that was going to propel me into my future. So I was sold. I was all in, right? But now I have joined in the April Madness, and I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and I knew it was going to be very valuable to commit to that. And he tells the story about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago, and he said, now I want everybody to close your eyes, put everything down, listen to me, because now I want you to hear it. Okay, so I did, and now something very, it was an amazing opportunity sitting there listening to the story. It was like oil was poured on my head and just went all through my body, and then my members they came alive. And for the first time, I think I truly do understand my calling and where I'm at and what this moment means to me. So instead of in March identifying with the guy that was in the hole, all of a sudden now, 1 month later, I'm identifying with the guy who jumped into the hole. And I realized what Optavia has created for me. And I started thinking about the people who are making the most impact in this system, who are going to the top, who are building teams. These are people who are sharing this message with their coaches and molding these coaches. I understand the process of bringing clients on, but to truly make an impact and to buy into Dr. A's vision so that we can help this globe come into this transition point and become awakened, we actually have to train coaches. Rachel, you and I can't do this on ourselves. Brian can't do it. Alan and Amy, we can't. As individuals, we just can't handle what is in front of us. So we have to create teams and more coaches. Now I see myself as the recovering addict who jumps into the hole and says to the coach next to me, shh, I got it. I've been here before. Now I'm going to help you get out. So I am being called to be a coach of coaches. And that's my epiphany. That's how I'm going to build a successful business. Not necessarily for the finances, although that's a goal, but so that I can help spread the message, help to change the world, and be a part of this incredible movement. So that's my epiphany. That was my aha moment.
Wow, thank you so much. So are we coaching clients into a compliant program, or are we commissioning them? That's the big question for tonight. We're going to really unpack that from its core. Okay. So, all right. Next, we are going, let's see, I got to check on my girl, Julie. She's parked somewhere. And I hope that she can, let me check my phone. She should be ready in 5 minutes. All right. So Julie.
No, I'm good. I just pulled over. I'm good.
Okay. All right. So you guys can do this business from anywhere.
Sort of.
let me set this up for a moment. Okay. So here's the deal. We are looking at every area of our business that needs refining. Okay. And it really means that what we're really asking ourselves, are we providing disruptive value to the client, disruptive to where they're like, whoa, this is not like anything I've ever experienced, and they settle in. Okay. Or do we have any systems or structures or mindsets or anything that would take away from that? And we've had a lot of discussion with all of you seeking that information. And so Julie and I had a discussion around 5 and 1 or bust. Are we all coaching the same mission? Are we coaching out of the systems? And are we potentially causing attrition or lack of satisfaction? Are we possibly lowering referrals, right? And having less coaches, not on purpose. Certainly none of you would do that on purpose. I know I wouldn't. I know all of you, and you wouldn't, because I know your hearts. But tonight we need to dig into that a little bit. So Julie, can you help us with that?
Yeah. So who on the call has a steps tracker on their watch, their phone? Just put in the chat. Okay. Throw in the chat how many steps you got in today. We're going to do a little check on our steps. 12. Okay. Oh, 55. Rachel, I'm right there with you. Round it right on 5,000. 77, 42, 1,100. Okay. Base level of movement for every day, for every person, base level is 10,000 steps. What brought me to this realization of we need to coach programs that are actually working for people, and coach the whole program, not just eat the food, drink the water, you'll lose the weight, because there's a whole heck of a lot more to health than that. When COVID hit, my sister had been on program for a few months and was losing 10 to 15 pounds a month. Soon as COVID happened and her work shut down, she did not change anything about her life, her program, nothing, except for the fact that she was not driving to work, walking into the daycare center, working with kids, standing up all day. They shut the daycare center down. So she automatically had a huge cut in movement, right? Guess what? Her results went down. Now, was she exercising before? No. She was just getting some daily movement in, regular movement that all people should do. Walking, bending, lifting, things that we all do during our day. So I really started to look at that and was like, man, like, I'm going to ask her to start going for walks. To exercise? No. To get that movement back in that she had lost because she was sent home from work and she was not walking. She wasn't even walking from her car to the store anymore or walking around the store. So I just wanted to paint that picture for you guys, because I have really been trying to work with clients starting at the health assessment and pairing them with the proper program for them. Okay. I have a fitness background, and so I'm working with a lot of fitness people, and they're already exercising 5 to 6 days a week. I know what classes they're going to because I'm in their class. That's why they signed up as a client, because they saw me at the gym. And so when I ask that section on what do you do for exercise? What do you enjoy? When that client lays out that they're going to workout classes every day and they're really enjoying it, they're loving it, they love the physical activity, it's a stress relief for them, I automatically am in tune with that. And I'm saying, okay, so 5-in-1 is not going to be a good fit for them. It's not, because what am I going to do as a health coach? Tell them to stop exercising so they can do a diet? Like, they already have the habit of healthy movement. So let's keep that in place. Let's not take that away and switch it for 5-in-1. There's no need. We have a program for those people. And so as I started looking at that, I do give people options. So don't get me wrong. I don't just say, okay, this is your program. I give them the option. I say, hey, are you doing that exercise because you have to, or because you enjoy, I investigate that aspect of their current health, and how often are they getting there 5 days a week, because that does make a difference as well. And how much are they sitting during their day? If they have a sedentary job and they're going to the gym and they're like, yeah, I kind of get on the elliptical for a little bit and I do some of the machines, but the rest of my day I'm sitting on my butt. Okay, 5-in-1 works for them. They're not exercising enough in order to, on top of their daily movement, to take them out of a 5-in-1. So this is where I would love to do a power hour on this and just kind of give some scenarios, and you guys can bring scenarios from your clients and just, pick my brain, Rachel's brain, anybody else. Jamie has experience with this. I don't want it to sound like we don't ever approach 5-in-1, because there's a lot of people out there that are, man, they're going to that spin class 3 days a week because they think that that's what they have to do to lose weight. If we can give them the option of either or, and give them some parameters, they can be really happy with their program and not maybe just quit because they didn't get to work out. In my experience, if I bring on someone who is used to working out and having that physical activity, and I say, this is years ago, I would do this a couple years ago. Okay, we're going to have you stop working out and we're going to put you on a 5-in-1 and get you into a really good fat burn. And then, we'll see what you want to do after that. Most of those people quit because they were not okay with that abrupt stop in their workouts. And to be honest, to go on a 5-in-1, it's not necessary to stop exercising. And it's certainly not necessary to stop moving your body. And that's what a going on a walk is. So I think that it would be really great to just make that distinction in your mind as far as what is exercise. And Kara did a great job unpacking yesterday what NEAT is. NEAT is not exercise. Going for a walk is not exercise. Okay. Participating in Fit Club, any of the challenges I have in there, not exercise. The squats and the planks that you did today in Fit Club probably burned about 20 calories, 30 calories. I don't know. Probably not very much. You're good. You can do 5 and 1 in Fit Club. You can do 5 and 1 and go for a walk. You can go ride your bike. Oh my goodness. Like, what a low impact activity to do, riding your bike with your family. You don't need to stop doing those things to be on 5 and 1. And if you're an exercise-aholic because you love it and you want to keep doing that and your client wants to keep doing that, you don't have to stop doing that. We have a program for that too. So be looking in the future. We're going to set up some time to really dive into how do you make that distinction. But until then, if you're unsure, table it with your client and ask, you know, like, this is the activity level this person has. This is where they're at. How do I coach them? What program do I coach them on? You don't always have to have every answer right on the spot.
I love that. So good. And it really makes those check-ins valuable, because now we might have to adjust their sales, get feedback on their body, how they're feeling. Now they're showing up for the check-in because they are like, wow, I want to tell you what's happening. I'm actually doing really well on the 4 and 2. So this is going to be our soft skill that we develop together on how to utilize the systems and the other programs that we coach. I had personally, just to put a bow on that, I had a client that was fixating on food quite a bit. And I asked her if a second lean and green, right? We did all the tools and all the coaching, but I said, do you think that a second lean and green would help you to stop nibbling and doing a dirty 5 and 1? And she said, oh my God, yes. And I actually was on a call with Yessie's client last week and we positioned that, and she said, oh my God, yes. Now, if they're more able and they are going to be on program longer, is that good for you? Right? It's good for you. So we really want to be careful. We always use choice architecture. We'll teach you guys this skill of structured tension, TEE calculation, and really working with your clients, not as an expert, but as a coach that knows the systems over time. Okay. So cool. Thank you so much, Julie. That was very helpful. Put a 4 in the chat if that was helpful. It didn't have to be all the way helpful, because we're going to train you guys more and more so that you feel more competent to do your own plan when you need to pivot and then help other people as well. Okay, cool. So I'm going to share my screen and we are going to get into our PowerPoint. We're going to kind of go through this pretty quickly. We went through this. This was our agenda for tonight, but just for those on the playback, thank you for Ronnie and Julie for sharing with us. And I want to talk about this. Salesy starts with us. So this is something that I, being one of the leaders on this team, I have heard this a lot. Like, well, I don't want to be salesy, or I don't want to get my client on a 2-week call with my mentor because I don't want it to sound salesy or whatnot. And I think we really have to step into this as a team and really unpack it, because I'm going to tell you from my point of view, I don't want anyone to ever be salesy. I believe that salesy means that you're surpassing their intrinsic motivation, that you're trying to create it, that you're using the gift of persuasion to move someone to something they don't want. So I would really hope that none of us ever are guilty of that, okay? But I want to really address this terminology because I'd like to see it go away in terms of how we talk, because I don't think it's helpful to the mission. And I think that it creeps into certain legs of the business that I see, and I'm just going to be really honest with you, and I'd like to address it as a leader. And I'd really like to equip you to address it as well, okay? So I would like to get into that this evening. And I don't know why my PowerPoint will not let me advance. I'm stuck. There we go. All right, so let me go back and make sure that we're in the right place. Okay, here we go. So Salesy starts with us. If we are salesy, then that's the problem, but none of us should be. So my first question, these are questions that I have for you tonight. What is your coaching story? On your health assessment, are you still telling your client story? Or have you started to tell some of your coaching story on your health assessment? That's my first question. If it's all about the weight loss and how you haven't gained it back and all of that, and it's nothing about your coaching story, you are going to have the accusation of, when your mentor gets on the 2-week, they might be called salesy because nothing was set up from the beginning that says about your coaching story. When was the last time you guys told your coaching story on social media? Your coaching story, your gifts from coaching, very authentically and transparently. How would I be assured if I was working with you that this is not a diet? What assurances would I have in working with you? Will you coach me when I start treating it like one? Will you correct my language? Something as simple as saying, hey, you just said the word diet. I'd like to challenge you to end the word with me. Because your brain, when you say diet, actually thinks we are dieting, and it will want to end this health journey for your protection. Could we put a quarter in the swear jar and just be done with that word? Can I coach that? How do you know and trust your coach? That might seem like a very silly question, but there's times where we get on team coaching calls and the client has no idea how you know your mentor and if you trust them. That would seem salesy, right? Just to like let the call happen and not say, hey, this is my friend, Julie. She's my friend. We go way back. This is my friend, Kristen. We go way back. I trust her a whole bunch. She led me to this point. She walked it out with me. And I'm so grateful that she's on the call with you. You're safe with her. This is a no judge zone. Julie, take it away, my friend. Are you giving the team coaching calls that assurance, right? So that your client feels good about that? When was your coaching story updated in Chasing Better? When was the last time that you went in and updated that so that your client that's added to Chasing Better knows that the gift of coaching for you? Does every single client that gets on a 2-week already know that there's a sharing component to our plan? Or is that a surprise? The mentor just threw it out and now that call looks salesy. If you're hearing salesy from your 2 weeks, I love you, you're doing it wrong. I'm just going to tell you, you're doing it wrong. I cannot candy coat that. I have to call it out. Okay. If any of you have said that about a call, it's probably because it was not postured correctly by you, not by your mentor, by you. Is the weight loss update the focus before the call? So is your mentor getting, hey, they've lost 52 pounds. They used to be this weight. They're off blood pressure medication, physical. Then the call is going to sound really weird when we start talking about mental, okay? What bucket does coaching fill for that client? If you've been interacting with them for 2 weeks, relationship, day 1 through 8 text, 4-day phone call, they've been on 2 Saturday mornings, they've been on 2 Monday nights, you have a comprehensive health assessment and window into their life, what bucket does coaching fill? And does your mentor know that? Hey, it's this guy's fulfillment. He has none. This lady has no time. This client is a chronic dieter and has abused her body terribly prior to this plan. She needs coaching for accountability or she's going to do it again, right? Is this the kind of setup for the call, or are we still talking about weight? Does the client pre-integrate? How many times have they been offered community after the health assessment? Have they attended anything? Or is this the first time that they're getting on the call with another Optivian besides you? Who are the first people that they want to get healthy with? So those are my questions. How much does program cost? Around $400. Are you helping everyone protect their program first and foremost? Or are you guys hearing, I'm sorry, I have to cancel my program because of inflation, because of gas, because of this, because of that? I'm going to tell you, I heard it twice today. Today, I heard, I love this program. Thank you for your help. I'm really drowning in my finances. We are leaning into that today and helping them share so they don't have to quit their health journey. And if that was a big surprise, then they wouldn't have even said, hey, can I take a look at the coaching aspect? What we believe shapes everything we do and say. Think about your faith. If you have faith in something, it shapes everything you do and everything you say. What do you guys believe about coaching? What do you believe about team coaching? And that's really where I want you to do an assessment with me. So please get a pen and paper, and I'd like for you just to score these things really honestly with no need to impress or inflate anything. Let's see what we believe so we can settle this really once and for all and really have a sponsoring culture. What I'm after is true mission and sponsoring, and that sponsoring would no longer be an issue for anyone because we're operating out of our beliefs. So number one, prior to Optavia coaching, before you were a coach, how was your self-confidence, self-talk, and self-trust scale of 1 to 10? How was your communication? Scale of 1 to 10. How was your understanding of this program before you coached program? How was your purpose and fulfillment? How was your accountability in your health? How were your healthy finances? And what I'm really asking for here for today, especially for our new coaches, is be honest, all of you. Do you worry about your Optavia order anymore? Or not at all? Adding popcorn, infusers, what else do I want? A couple lean and greens, right? How many of you are experiencing that? Put a 5 in the chat if you're making more than $430 a month. Put a 5 in the chat if you're making more than $430, please, if you're able. Ego, managed or unmanaged before plan. And it still may be in process like mine, but at least you're on the way, right? Your sense of community, go back way before coaching. Scale of 1 to 10, how was it? Your integration on plan. What parts of the program were you missing before coaching? And now I would ask you the very same questions, right? But I'm asking you after. The same questions after coaching. And if you're new, you may be like, I don't know yet. That's okay. You screenshot this and you can let us know in 6 months. Okay? And you get to let us know quite honestly what it is. So all of these, this is what when we're saying being true to the mission, these things are either true or false, right? And we don't have to, a salesperson inflates the truth and they exaggerate and they use the power of persuasion to create a need that's not there. And if anyone on this team is ever asked to do that, something's wrong, because I've never had to do that. And I've been here 5 years. I have never had to exaggerate, placate, or any of that, because the need is glaring and the offering is right on time. So I've never had to do that. Remember what we do here. We tell our real stories. Are you still telling your healthy body story when your whole life has changed? We update our followers and our friends along the way. We boldly invite others to come with us. We're not timid about it because we know if we don't, someone's life is at risk. Their mental, their physical, their spiritual, their financial. We support them on their journey and we help them to protect their well-traveled path. Was your path protected without coaching? That's the truth you bring into those 2-week calls, or you don't, right? Do you want to do 25 check-ins or 5 check-ins? I want to do 5 and know that those 5 check-ins changed 25 lives. I want to check in with 5 coaches from 8 to noon and then go have fun with my grandkids. Do I love clients? You bet I do. But I also love my grandkids. And I don't want to just be one-on-one. I want some scale in my business, you guys. I want to make an impact that has a massive ripple. Do you want clients that stay 2.5 months? Or do you want coaching partners that stay at least 2.5 years? Client versus client guiding others. Were you guys sold coaching? Who sold you? Who gotcha, right? Or were you given a gift? So here's the deal. We need a sponsoring culture because it's missional and because it's true. And we don't need to sell or get anyone, but we have to start telling the truth and setting our mentors up for these calls in ways where we don't look like we're holding all of that. That it was disseminated all the way through so that when we get on and we're so excited to present the 5th component, which sets us apart from Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, every gym, everything they could ever touch. And we say, it's the sharing that's going to cement your results. It's the paying it forward. It's that helping others that's going to reverse engineer your plan. And if they are violently opposed because it's not their season of life or they don't want to, which is perfectly acceptable, we teach them how to refer. But our program, we can no longer act like that is not our 5th component and that it's some kind of like, all right, mentor, get them to coach. I think we just have to step into it and say, guys, if you sat with Dr. A right now, he'd say, what do you mean? Like it's for everybody, right? So we are doing an incredible job on this right now, coming from where we were a few months ago. But as your leader here and one of your friends and mentors, I'm going to tell you that we're just getting started. I really believe that because I really believe that this team is finally getting to a place where they're unapologetic about the truth and those scores that you just did. And all that I want is for you to sing it from the mountaintops and only tell the truth and never be salesy. Never use your gift of persuasion or speech to rah-rah someone into health if they're not ready or ready to coach. That's never the ask. That will never be the ask. So tonight, I really just want to come with my heart. Does anyone have, like, we have like 2 minutes. I needed a little more time tonight. Is this resonating with anyone? Do you want to share anything? Does anyone have a burning desire to share anything? I want to give a few minutes to hear from maybe some of our other leaders, or do you have any questions before we wrap up? Sheila?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I come from a big, MLM company, so I think it's kind of naturally in my blood to kind of feel like that, even though I never felt like I was selling oils. It truly saved me, but I feel like it's so different, even though it's people think like direct sales and MLMs are the same. So I think it's just naturally something that I probably am guilty of, but you're right. I try to get on these calls and I try to make them a rock in my schedule. And it's like, this is the call that I finally got on. And it's like, I'm glad I did,
Thank you so much. I see a boldness in you that is unbelievable. And if you feel like it's teetering on persuasion, I'll take that. I'll take that versus the apologetic. I don't know. We always say like passion on fire beats knowledge on ice every day of the week. Okay. So I see that in you, Sheila, that you're passionate. But I love your humility and your honesty about that. Adrian, I see your hand up. Thank you, Sheila.
Yeah, I think my journey when I was starting, I didn't think coaching was for anybody. And so they're saying it's for everybody. I don't know it. But as I began to grow in this and coming to all of the trainings, hearing this, learning, understanding, yeah, I believe coaching should be offered to everyone. I feel I'm doing them an injustice if I don't offer it to them. And offering it from the posture that I think it's going to really, enhance their life, make their lives better. So it was a growing experience for me, but I was growing because I was coming, listening, and learning, and beginning to understand.
Thank you so much. That is so good. Hey, put a 4 in the chat if you think coaching is for a struggling client. Clients struggling, is coaching for them? You bet. I have a few of you on this call that I said, all right, guess what? We need to coach. Wait, what? I'm struggling. You didn't hear me, coach. No, I heard you. I heard you. And the only way that it was going to end is to step in to more and the development and get to the root and stop. I was pulling weeds up here, right? We got to get to the root of the self-sabotage, get to the root of the lack of dreaming and the lack of structure. And we do that. So I love it. Anyone else have any final comments that you want to share before we close up? And I will see some of you in Dallas. And guess what? We'll bring it back. Everything we get as good teammates, we will bring it all back for you. So if you're not there, we will bring it back for you. You can be assured of that. Awesome. Ashley Venice says this call was fire. Thank you so much. I needed that encouragement. I'm tired, y'all, moving, packing, but I am so ready to add to this mission the way that it was intended. And I just hope that all of you will join me in that because it's so good for your clients. It's just so good for them. So have a great night and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you for hanging on a little extra.